What happens when you combine a 14-year-old Yamaha UD-Stomp with a brand new Strymon Big Sky? Let's find out. So some of you know that I own a Yamaha UD-Stomp. It's a somewhat mythical pedal. It was produced in the mid to late 90s through about 2003, 2004. I've had mine for about 14 years, and it's really cool. It has 8 discrete delay lines that you can control individually with high-cut, low-cut filters, modulation, panning, balance, the whole bit, and you can create some really pretty amazing sounds with the UD-Stomp. Well, I recently got the Strymon Big Sky, and I immediately began to get questions about combining the UD-Stomp with the Big Sky, so I thought I'd give it a try. And so here's an interesting sound that I'd like to just kind of walk you through real quick, and maybe it'll give you some ideas using newer pedals to get similar types of sounds. All right, so first off, here is my clean signal with just a little bit of compressor. Okay, and I'll be playing a very simple piece in the key of E, baritone E. If you're playing a standard guitar, you'd just be playing in the key of A with the same fingerings. Okay, and I won't play the whole thing, but that's basically kind of what it is. All right, so let's talk about sounds. So first up, I pulled up one of my favorite presets on the Yamaha UD-Stomp. It is preset 221. This is one of the, quote, Allen Holdsworth presets that came with the UD-Stomp when you bought it. And let me just walk through a little bit of what's going on. It's called the Volume Pedal Swell Effects 1. Basically, it has all 8 delays on with the UD-Stomp, and they're set between 21 and 453 milliseconds. And 4 of the delays are panned left, my left, your right. 4 are panned right. So it's very wide and very stereo in its image. In addition, each delay has some modulation going on, which causes a fair amount of phase cancellation in the signal. And finally, the balance of the delays is louder than the dry signal from the guitar. And here's what it sounds like if I just play it. And you can hear when I play a note, the delays are louder. So it makes it really great for volume swells. Yeah, it's really nice. It's always been one of my favorites. And it's Allen Holdsworth. I'm an Allen Holdsworth addict. Rest in peace, Allen. And I use it as is, out of the box, so to speak. So anyhow, that's the basic sound. Now, let's talk about the Big Sky. All right, one of the really cool reverb types of the Big Sky is the shimmer reverb. And it is pretty fabulous, I have to admit. And one of the great things about that shimmer reverb is that you can change the interval of the shimmer. Typically, a shimmer is an octave above the original signal as a reverb, right? And it kind of floats along above. But with the Strymon, you can set other intervals. For example, you can set a fifth above, or you could go a fourth below. You could set thirds or sixths. Pretty cool. And so what I did was just dial up a preset from the Big Sky called Fifth Wheel. So Fifth Wheel, and it is the shimmer reverb with the interval set to a fifth. So here's what it sounds like. Isn't that nice? So it's got a fifth above, it's got the dry signal, and then it's got the octave below that fifth above, which makes it a fourth below the dry signal. Hopefully that makes sense. So you have an octave sound above and below the dry signal in the middle. And you can also hear there's a good bit of diffusion going on in the reverb, as you would expect. All right, so let's put the two of them together. Here we go. Oh yeah. One of the things I really like about this combination of intervals is that you can create very complex chord structures. And I've done a couple of videos on pitch shifters and how to create complex chord structures using a pitch shifter. So I'll link to that somewhere around here. This is kind of the same concept, except instead of using a pitch shifter, you're using a reverb. Okay, so let me play just a single note again. Just that single note is pretty complex, but let's say I add in a minor third interval below the note. Okay, so this is a B, a baritone B. Okay, and let's say I want to play a G sharp below it. Okay, let's play those two together. Oh yeah, all of a sudden it becomes very complex because it's not just two notes anymore. It's actually four different note names, and it's actually three notes per string, above, dry, and below. So that gives me a total of 6 different notes in different octaves. All right, so, and then when you add in other types of chords, you can get some really nice shapes. Now, one thing I should mention, if you're using the Strymon Big Sky reverb, or maybe another reverb that does this, or a pitch shifter, just be careful of the intervals because you can get some that don't sound that great. Also, be careful of having notes that are close together. Actually, that sounds pretty good, but you can get kind of muddy, especially in the low end, so you may want to play wider intervals. All right, I answered the question, what does the UD-Stomp and the Big Sky sound like when they're patched in together? The short answer is pretty darn awesome. There are a lot of different opportunities there for different types of sounds. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Chords of Orion. I've got ambient guitar related content coming each and every week. And if you're a Spotify user, would you do me a favor? Go over to Spotify and follow Chords of Orion. And as always, I'll see all of you on the next video.